All right, I have a big news for you. I'm launching all new 30 days SOC challenge for you. Whether you are a SOC analyst, an existing SOC analyst or security analyst, or a SOC aspirant, these free labs will help you in every way. These labs are more practical and hands on as well. One day, one lab, that's simple. In this challenge, we have covered six major categories. Number one, log analysis. Number two, network traffic analysis with Wireshark. Number three, incident response. Number four, we'll be having Splunk SIM, hands on with Splunk SIM with different log samples as well. Number five will cover phishing analysis, will cover threat intelligence and forensics as well. And number six will be EDR, endpoint detection and response with Wazoo. If you want to join this challenge, register yourself with the link mentioned in the description below. And please don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notified the moment we publish a new video. What are you waiting for? Let's get started. All right. So once you enroll yourself in the 30 days SOC challenge, you will get access. You will get the access to the Discord server. Herein, first you have to introduce yourself in the introduce yourself channel, and in the Ask Me Anything section, you can ask me any sort of a questions. In the discussion area, it's a kind of a forum where you can ask different questions, and you will find answer, and you can connect with different folks under the section 30 days chalk challenge. Over here you can see this is the 30 days chalk challenge, right? Section under this you have multiple days, multiple channels. You see this, each individual channels consist of tasks for individual day. Okay, so if I go for day one, you will get all the details. You will get a link in the pin comment on the top. You have pinned messages, you can click on it, or else you can find the link directly here. Okay, I just added in the pin section so that you don't get distracted or you don't miss the message. Okay, so you can click on the GitHub. This will take you to the GitHub repository over here. Okay, so make sure you register yourself for the channel, and then you can refer to the GitHub repository. Once you finish the task, you have to come back to the respective channel, and this is where you have to share the snapshot of the task, submit the task result, and also make sure you answer what did you learn from this task. Okay, what was your observation and what did you learn from this task? This is what I want to hear from you with the snapshot as well. Okay, so let's get started. Before we go for the actual task, let's learn about log analysis. Let's learn about the log first of all. Okay, so log is basically a record. As you can see, log is basically a record in the system that captures important details like errors, warning, user activity. It can be anything depending on types of log that you are collecting. Are you collecting the authentication log? Are you collecting security logs? Are you collecting network related log, or maybe warning logs or system related logs? Okay, every system, every application generate logs, and they have a different pattern altogether. The activity performed by SOC analyst is called log analysis, to find the relevant data from the log. Okay, something happened in the past, now you want to know what was happened, how exactly it happened. So you get those information from the logs from the past event, and the activity is called log analysis. It's very very important, remember this. Now, log consists of some relevant, some very, very useful information that consists of timestamp. You can see that consists of timestamp when the alert or the event was triggered, and then the event description. What is there in the event? A new user was created, or maybe a new connection was established with a remote IP address, or maybe the user login attempt was failed, or maybe a new command was executed, anything. Okay, then there's a severity as well. I mean, if this log is critical, error, or just a warning, or maybe an information, that's it. Okay, and then there can be source as well. I mean, what user executed this specific command, or what process was initialized, or what service was started or stopped. Okay, so this is all usually be. usually defined in the login tree. Okay. So now, as we go ahead, I mean, let me show you an example of a log. So this is an example log of Linux auth.log file. Okay. Rest everything I'll tell you later. Let's first look at the example log. This is the example log. As you can see, it can be divided into multiple sections. First, you can see this is your timestamp. You see this? This is your timestamp, and it's written over here as well. You see this is the timestamp. Then you have Ubuntu, which is the host name. You see this is your host name. Then you have sshd, which is the name of the process or the daemon. You see this sshd, which is ssh daemon. So this is more of a failed password for an invalid user. So a user tried accessing the server, but maybe it's an invalid user, and the user name doesn't exist, or the combination doesn't exist. Okay. So in that case, you will see the specific event or the log description, which is failed password for invalid user admin. It's failed pass credential combination. Okay. Then it also shows you the source IP address from where the attempt was executed. Okay. Then we also have a port number of the source IP address 54321, and finally you have a protocol, which is SSH2. Okay, protocol version especially. Right. So this is an example of a log. This is very important. Let's say, for example, some, there are multiple similar log entry coming in from the same IP address. Now this can be really informational, so that I can possibly block this specific IP address in the future. Right. So logs are very, very important for investigation and taking the action in the future. Let's talk about different log sources. So in the Linux, there are different log sources, and in the Windows, we have different log sources. In the Linux, there can be a system specific logs, and there can be a application specific logs as well. System specific logs are constant. Okay. Application logs depends on what application have you installed. Maybe you have an Apache install on your machine. Maybe you have MySQL, MongoDB, anything related to that. Every application will generate its own log. Okay. And remember, all the logs has their own format. That's why you need solution like SIM, which can normalize and standardize the log format. Right. Now let's talk about the system related logs. When in any sort of a Linux machine, usually the logs are stored in the /var/log. And under this directory, you will find all the logs. Maybe it's related to system related logs. That will be syslog. Okay. You see this? Syslog for system messages. Any process being started, stopped, anything happening into the overall general system activity. Then we also have auth.log. Okay, this is authentication related log. So if ssh attempt was successful, failed, someone tried accessing the machine, brute force, everything will be mentioned over there. Okay. Then we also have kernel related log, kernel. Okay, which will be kern.log, which is kernel related logs. Okay. Then we can have a application specific log like Apache, that will be stored in /var/log /apache2. Maybe let's say we have some other application suricata, so that will be /var/log /suricata slash suricata.log. Okay. So that's how the logs are stored, and these are the categories of log that you can see. Okay. Next, we also have Windows specific logs. So Windows usually store all the logs in the event viewer. Okay. So you can go to your start Windows icon and search for event viewer. Once you search for the event viewer, you will get different categories of log, different types of logs. These are some of the important logs that is relevant for a SOC analyst or for any network analysis. Okay. So system related logs, these are stored related to operating system event. There are some security related logs as well, that consist the login attempt, permission changes. We also have application related logs to store the logs for a application. We also have PowerShell related logs. This is what we are going to cover in this lab. PowerShell related logs. There are logs for PowerShell command. If certain commands are executed using PowerShell, editor or PowerShell prompt, so that will be stored here. If specific process being executed, a child or parent relationship being established, so those will be captured by PowerShell specific log. Remember, in Windows, every logs, I mean, it is usually called as event, and every event has got a number. Okay, so there will be an event ID for every log. Okay, in Windows we call it as event. So every event has its own event ID. Remember this. For security professionals, there is one more very important type of log which is not mentioned here, because usually it need to be installed separately. It's called sysmon. Okay, so this needs to be, it's kind of a driver which need to be installed onto the your Windows machine separately, and once it is installed, it will capture security related events. All right, so we'll cover that up maybe in the future. And let's talk about the next section. Next, you have, how does SOC analyst use log analysis? Okay, so basically, the major use case is the incident detection. Okay, this is where SOC analysts review the logs, detect unusual activity as well. It is not usually done manually most of the time. What we have is the company. We have something called SIM solution. In the SIM, we collect all the logs from different machines, from maybe, let's say, endpoints like Windows, maybe Linux machine, or maybe different application, or maybe security solutions like EDR, antivirus solutions, everything from the network, maybe firewall logs as well, right? So once you get all the events on the SIM solution, then you create a rule. If any rule matches with the existing events or logs, it will generate an alert. I hope that was clear, right? So that get triggered, and that's how you create an incident. Let me tell you one more time. You have logs, right? Okay, and this is your SIM solutions, right? SIM solutions. When onto the SIM solution, there are different rules. Okay, when a log specific log matches with the existing rule created on the SIM solution, it will generate an alert. Okay, and once you start working on a specific alert, or maybe you want to perform a specific investigation or relevant issues, that's where you create an incident and you start your investigation. All right, so that's how it becomes really helpful for incident detection. It is also helpful for forensic activity, because forensic is need to be done once something happened, right? So let's say a data breach happened in the network. Now you want to know how exactly the data breach was happened, who logged it into what server, and how this attacker moved from one computer to another computer, how he was able to bypass the firewalls. This all will be captured on different logs. So you can do that by performing forensics by using the log analysis. It's also quite useful for security monitoring and compliance purpose as well. As a part of different compliances like PCI DSS, HIPAA compliance, GDPR, you must store all the logs, and then you can of course perform the log analysis whenever it's needed. Okay, now let's talk about the final point, which is popular tools for log analysis. One of the very popular tool is called Splunk. Splunk is quite popular. Of course, this will be covered in this 30 days SOC challenge as well, so don't worry about it. We'll be having some custom logs. I created different log samples just for you to experience that, experience the real world issues. Okay, then we also have ELK. It's not covered in this 30 days challenge. It's covered in my ultimate security analyst program. You can learn about that program later. It's a paid program. So ELK stack, which is also again very popular, large enterprises organization use it heavily. So this is also very powerful for log collection, log storing the logs and visualizing the logs. Splunk is also powerful. Greylog is also an open source solution, also has the enterprise solution with them. Okay, it's majorly used for log retention storage, but nowadays people also use it for log analysis. Then we have Wazoo. It's also completely an open source platform that's very powerful. We are going to cover Wazoo in our 30 days challenge as well. Okay, so this is all about logs, different sources of log, how logs, and how does SOC analyst use log analysis, uses log analysis technique, I would say, and different tools used for log analysis. Let's move directly to the lab task. All right, so now let's focus on our task, which is simulating and detecting Windows PowerShell event. So the idea is, how can we detect any suspicious command executed on PowerShell? Okay, so attackers or malicious actors usually leverage or utilize the PowerShell to run malicious script. Okay, so we are going to discover how can we look at any command executed or suspicious command executed on PowerShell. Okay, for this you need a Windows machine or Windows server, and of course Windows Event Viewer to analyze the logs, and PowerShell should be there. But before we actually start the logs, we need to make sure the PowerShell logging is enabled. In PowerShell, module logging maybe, script block logging, script execution should be enabled so that you can get all the logs. And this is the attack simulation. So we'll be executing get local users to see all the local users in the system, and we will then detect if who executed this command and when it was executed. Okay, so let's go on our Windows machine quickly. And in here, first of all, let's enable the Windows PowerShell logging. Okay, for this we have to go to GP edit, group policy. You can also follow the GitHub repository. Under this, let me maximize. Under this, you have to go under this local computer policy. You have two section: computer configuration and user configuration. Under the computer configuration, go to the administrative templates, then go to the Windows components, and then search for PowerShell. Okay, I'm not exactly. I think we have to search for Windows components. Yes. So let's search for Windows components. Sorry, not Windows component, Windows PowerShell. Sorry, we are already in the Windows component, and then search for Windows PowerShell over here, and then make sure the module logging, Windows PowerShell script block logging, and script execution is enabled. So let's look at the turn on module logging. Double click on it. In my case, it's already been enabled. In your case, if you're using it very first time, then it will be not configured. Click on enabled, and then you can also click on show to see what values are there. If nothing has been mentioned, you can just add star, which is wildcard, and then save it. Then next, go to the turn on PowerShell script block logging. Double click on it. If it is not configured, click on enable, and then save it. Okay. Then third, turn on the script execution. Click on enable. Then you will get three options: allow only signed script, or local script, or remote script. You can select allow all script and then save it. It's done. Now we are all good. And now you can open your PowerShell to execute the command. And second, you need Event Viewer to detect the events. Okay. Now, usually PowerShell commands, you can find that under application and services logs. I'll first show you where exactly the logs are stored. So you can go to application and services logs, click on it. It might take some time. Then go to Microsoft, then go to Windows, and then search for PowerShell. You can also type P, okay, PowerShell here, over here, right? Then you click on operationals, and then you can see all the logs coming in. If you haven't enabled those module logging script execution, you won't be able to see all the logs, all the relevant PowerShell log. Okay, so make sure you do that. Then let's execute some simple command, which is get local user. Okay, and then come back to our server, enter the command, hit enter. You can see these are all the local user, administrator, default account, guest, and the specific user. Okay, uh, three of them are actually disabled. Only administrator is enabled. That's fine. We want to see if this command was executed. The command execution or script execution is categorized in event id 4104 usually. You can also see it's been mentioned in the GitHub repository. I mentioned that 4104. Okay, so let's come here on the event viewer. You can refresh the logs on your left. We have to search for 4104. If you can't find all the logs, you can also filter them up here. So go to filter current log, go to all event id, type 4104, hit OK. Perfect. You see 4104 at the top, and let's search for our command being executed. Perfect. Can you see this? The second log itself is this one. Get, I'll maximize this. Um, you can see this is creating script block. You can also click on detail option. This will give you detail of what was happened and different dependency as well. This was the script block text. Get local user, select object name. You can see this. Get local user, select object name enabled, right? And this, if you go in much more detail, you will also get the idea about computer. You will get the detail about event id and name, uh, where the system was executed, and you will also get who executed and all the relevant information in the. If you want that, you can also get this into the xml format as well, right? So that's how you discover the events if something happened in the system, right? So once you see that, get the detail, you can also double click on it and get the detail. Go and take a snapshot of this log event, share that in the Discord channel for day one. Under the day one, share this snapshot and also write what did you observe, and what was your observation and what did you learn from this task. All right, so I hope this was useful for you. We'll catch you in the next day, day two.